All right, gearing up for that horticulture production manager interview, let's jump into some RoleCatcher resources to help you prep.
Oh, yeah, we'll be diving deep into those sample interview questions. Think of this as like getting a sneak peek into the interviewer's mind.
Exactly, like a sneak peek. And we'll sprinkle in some career insights from RoleCatcher's guide as we go, to give you an edge. Plus, we'll touch on how their AI can really help you fine-tune your answers, for this specific job.
It's like having your own personal interview coach, but powered by AI to, really help you shine.
Okay, so first question up. What motivated you to pursue a career in horticulture production management? Seems straightforward, but how do you make your answers stand out?
Well, this is your chance to show them you're not just there for the paycheck. Instead of just saying, I like plants, tell them a story, maybe a childhood memory of helping your grandparents in their garden, or maybe like a fascinating college course that opened your eyes to horticulture.
So it's about connecting with them on a more personal level.
Exactly. And be prepared for those follow-up questions like, what's your favorite aspect of horticulture? Or what's the most challenging thing you've encountered in this field? Be ready to share some specific examples, stuff that demonstrates your knowledge and your experience.
Okay, next question. What are the key qualities required to be a successful horticulture production manager? This one feels broader. Where do you even begin?
So here you want to showcase those, core skills that make a horticulture production manager, well, tick. Leadership, communication, attention to detail, problem solving, being able to work independently, part of a team, the whole package. But you don't want to just list them off like it's a grocery list.
Right, anyone can rattle off a list of skills. What are they really looking for here?
Well, they want to see how you've actually applied those skills in real-life situations. For example, let's say you're talking about leadership. Maybe you spearheaded a new initiative at your previous job that really streamlined that production process. Or maybe you mentored a junior team member who really excelled under your guidance.
So you turn those skills into concrete examples, like show, don't tell.
Precisely. And just like before, always be ready for those follow-up questions. They might ask, can you give me an example of a time you had to solve a difficult problem, in a horticultural setting? Or how do you handle conflict within a team? Be prepared to share those specific stories that really showcase your skills in action.
How do you manage a team of horticulture production workers? Not just about being the boss, right?
Absolutely not. It's about creating that positive and productive environment where everyone feels valued and motivated to do their best work.
So leadership, communication, maybe a bit of mentorship too.
Exactly. Talk about how you delegate tasks effectively, recognizing individual strength and providing clear instructions, and highlight your communication style. Are you open and approachable? Do you encourage feedback? Don't forget to mention how you provide constructive criticism that helps your team members, grow and develop.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. How do you ensure that horticulture production is carried out in compliance with all the, relevant regulations and standards? This one sounds a bit more technical.
It is. It's crucial. They want to see that you're not just knowledgeable about the industry, but also committed to doing things by the book.
So how do you show them that you're on top of things?
Well, you can highlight your knowledge of those industry regulations and best practices. Explain how you stay updated on any changes. Maybe you subscribe to industry publications, attend workshops, participate in those professional organizations, and don't just tell them, show them.
What do you mean by show them?
Share some specific examples, how you've implemented those compliance procedures in the past. Maybe you developed a new training program for your team, or perhaps you created a system for tracking and documenting, those pesticide applications. The key is to demonstrate you take compliance seriously. You have the experience to back it up.
Speaking of staying on top of things, how do you ensure that horticulture production is carried out efficiently and cost effectively? Always a balance there.
Yes, and it's delicate. This is where you showcase your ability to think strategically and, make smart decisions that benefit the entire operation.
So it's not just about cutting costs, it's about like optimizing that whole process.
Exactly. Think about specific strategies you've used in the past. Maybe you streamlined those workflows, negotiated better prices with suppliers, or even implemented technology to, just to improve efficiency. And don't forget about sustainability.
Right, sustainability is huge these days.
It is, and it's something employers are really looking for. Talk about how you minimize waste, conserve water, or implement environmentally friendly practices. It shows you're not just focused on the bottom line, but on the, long-term health of the operation and the planet.
Okay, let's dive into some questions that really get into like the hands-on experience, things like crop planning, inventory management, equipment maintenance.
Ah, this is your bread and butter. Be prepared to shine. They'll likely ask specific questions. Describe your experience with crop planning, or how do you manage inventory effectively, or what's your approach to equipment maintenance?
So it's all about showcasing those practical skills.
Absolutely. But remember, don't just tell them what you did, show them how your actions made a difference. Did you increase yield, reduce waste, improve efficiency, quantify your accomplishments whenever possible?
Right, numbers speak volumes.
They do. They add credibility. And just like before, be ready for those follow-up questions. What are the biggest challenges you faced in crop planning? Or how do you handle a situation where essential equipment breaks down? Be prepared to share those real-life experiences and how you navigated them successfully.
Now let's talk about those tell me about a time questions, the ones that ask you to, describe a specific challenge you faced and how you overcame it.
Ah, yes, the classic behavioral interview questions. These can be tricky, but they're a goldmine for demonstrating your problem-solving skills, your resilience, that ability to learn from your experiences.
So how do you choose the right story?
Choose a story that's relevant to this role, to the role of the Horticulture Production Manager, and highlight those skills and qualities that they're looking for. Maybe it's a time you had to deal with like a sudden pest outbreak or a situation where the weather conditions threatened your crops. Walk them through the problem, your thought process, the actions you took, and of course the outcome.
And don't forget the most important part. What did you learn from that experience?
Absolutely. Show them that you're not just good at handling those challenges, but you also, use them as opportunities to grow and improve.
So we've covered a lot of common interview questions. Before we move on, how does RoleCatcher's AI come into play during this prep phase?
RoleCatcher's AI is like having a personalized interview coach in your pocket. It goes into the specifics of that job you're applying for and helps you, tailor your answers to precisely what that employer is looking for.
It's like having a secret weapon.
Exactly. It can analyze the job description, identify those keywords, and even suggest ways to weave those keywords into your answers, naturally. It can even analyze your tone and delivery, helping you project confidence and enthusiasm.
So it's not just about what you say, but how you say it.
Exactly. And the feedback you get from RoleCatcher's AI is just invaluable. It's like having a second set of eyes, or rather a sophisticated algorithm, reviewing your answers, pointing out areas for improvement.
That's what I call smart prep.
All right, so those crisis situations, those curveballs. Well, interviewers often want to know how you handle those, so be ready to answer the question. Can you describe a time when you had to manage a crisis in, horticulture production? These tell me about a time questions they can feel a bit daunting sometimes, but they're a great opportunity to, showcase your problem-solving skills and that resilience.
So you're saying it's not about pretending you've never had any challenges?
Yeah.
But showing how you, handle those inevitable curveballs.
Exactly. And remember, a crisis, it doesn't have to be some massive company-saving event. It could be something as simple as a pest outbreak, a late frost threatening those crops, or maybe a key piece of equipment malfunctioning right before harvest.
I see. So as long as it highlights, your ability to think clearly under pressure, make sound decisions, and be able to adapt to those unexpected situations.
Right. Walk them through it. Explain the problem, what actions you took, and the result. And don't forget to mention what you learned. Did it change your approach, maybe to certain procedures? Or did it, reinforce the importance of certain skills?
It's all about showing that you learn from those tough experiences and that you, apply those lessons to future situations.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. How about this question? How do you stay updated on the latest changes in horticultural, regulations and standards? This is where you really demonstrate, that you're not just knowledgeable, but also committed to staying well ahead of the curve.
So it's not enough to just know the rules today. It's about showing that you're actively engaged in keeping up with the, ever-changing landscape of those regulations.
Precisely. And there are tons of great resources out there. Mention some specific industry publications you subscribe to. Things like the American Vegetable Grower or Greenhouse Grower. Talk about professional organizations that you're a member of, like the American Society for Horticultural Science.
Oh, and don't forget about those continuing education opportunities, workshops, webinars, online courses, so many ways to stay in the loop.
Right. And if you've gotten any relevant certifications lately or completed a training program, highlight that. It shows that you're invested in that professional development, committed to being at the forefront of the industry.
Now let's tackle a question that's all about efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe your experience with um, inventory management in a horticultural setting?
Yeah.
It might seem like a behind-the-scenes kind of task, but it's really crucial for, keeping that whole operation running smoothly.
Absolutely. Inventory management, it's about organization, attention to detail, and you know that knack for forecasting and planning. Be prepared to discuss your experience with tracking inventory levels, ordering supplies, managing stock, and, minimizing waste.
And just like those other questions, quantifying your accomplishments can really make your answer pop.
Right. Did you implement a new inventory management system?
Right.
Maybe reduced waste by, a certain percentage? Did you negotiate better prices that saved the company money? Tell them about it.
Those concrete examples are really powerful.
They are. Add credibility to your claims. Now, along the same lines, they might ask, can you describe your experience with, equipment maintenance and repair?
This one's all about showing them that you're, comfortable with the hands-on stuff and your ability to keep those essential tools in great shape.
Exactly. Be ready to talk about your experience with preventative maintenance, troubleshooting any issues, and managing the, repair budgets. Have you taken the initiative to learn about any new equipment or maybe implement a new maintenance program? Those are great things to highlight.
So it's about showing that you're not afraid to, roll up your sleeves when you need to.
And you understand that keeping things running smoothly helps avoid those costly downtimes. Now let's move on to a question about your leadership style. How do you delegate tasks and provide, feedback to your team?
This one is really about showing them that you're not just a boss, you're a leader
Yeah.
who can, motivate and empower your team to do their best work.
It's about recognizing individual strengths, providing those clear instructions, setting clear expectations, and offering constructive feedback to help people, learn and grow.
If you have any experience with mentoring or training team members, that's a great opportunity to share those experiences.
And if you've used any specific, feedback models or techniques, you could mention those too. It shows that you thought deeply about how to provide effective feedback, that helps people improve.
Speaking of performance, let's wrap up with this question. How do you ensure that your team is, meeting those production goals and maintaining high quality standards?
This is where you bring it all together. Leadership, communication, that technical expertise, problem solving, and show them that you can lead your team to success.
So setting those clear expectations, providing the resources and support, and closely monitoring progress.
Exactly. Think about specific strategies you've used to motivate your team, track progress, and ensure, that everyone is on the same page with those quality standards. Have you implemented any incentive programs or used any data-driven approaches to monitor performance? These are all great things to highlight.
So it's about creating a culture of accountability and excellence, where everyone's working together to achieve those shared goals.
Now let's circle back to RoleCatcher's AI. How can it help you prepare for these types of leadership questions?
Right, because it's not just about having the right answers. It's about delivering them with confidence, that conviction.
Exactly. RoleCatcher's AI, it can analyze your responses and give you feedback on your tone, your pacing, even your body language during virtual interviews. It can help you project those leadership qualities through your communication style, making sure you come across as confident, articulate, inspiring.
It's like having, a personal coach to help fine-tune that delivery and make sure your message resonates.
Okay, so let's dive into a question that's very specific to, the horticulture industry. Can you describe your experience with different propagation techniques? This one's where you get to really, really showcase that technical knowledge and hands-on experience.
So it's about going beyond the basics of planting and watering.
Yeah.
And, showing that you understand all those different methods used to multiply plants.
Exactly. Be prepared to discuss your experience with different techniques like seed starting, cuttings, grafting, layering, even tissue culture.
And if you have any experience with those specialized techniques, like micropropagation, hydroponics, don't be afraid to mention those.
Right. The more tailored and specific your answers are to the job description, the better. And, don't be afraid to get into the details. They want to see that you understand the nuances of each technique and can apply them effectively.
And speaking of nuances, how would you approach this one? How do you approach, pest and disease management in a sustainable and environmentally responsible way?
Yeah.
This is all about showing your commitment to plant health and, ecological balance.
It is, and it's a topic that's only becoming more and more important. Highlight your knowledge of integrated pest management strategies, IPM strategies. They emphasize those preventative measures, those biological controls, and using pesticides only as a last resort.
Talk about specific examples of how you've used those IPM principles. Maybe introducing beneficial insects to control pests or using crop rotation to break disease cycles.
Exactly. And, mention your commitment to using eco-friendly products whenever you can. This shows that you're aware of the impact of horticultural practices on the ecosystem and your, dedication to those sustainable solutions.
Now, this next question is often overlooked, but so important. Can you describe your experience with post-harvest handling and storage?
So with this question, you're showing them you understand that whole life cycle of the crops from planting all the way to packaging and everything in between.
So showcasing your knowledge of how to maintain quality and freshness after those plants have been harvested.
Right. Be prepared to discuss techniques like cooling, cleaning, grading, packaging, storage.
And if you have any experience with specific post-harvest treatments, like, modified atmosphere packaging, ethylene management, mention those.
Great examples. It shows that you understand the science behind maintaining that quality and extending shelf life, which is crucial for any horticultural operation.
Okay, let's shift gears. This question's a bit more focused on, your personal development. How do you stay updated on the latest, trends and advancements in the horticulture industry?
This one is about showing them that you're a dedicated, lifelong learner, eager to stay ahead of the curve.
So it's about going beyond just reading, an industry magazine every now and then. Think about conferences, workshops, webinars, maybe even getting involved in some research projects or industry associations.
Exactly. This field is all about innovation, so showing that commitment to staying informed is key.
And what are some resources or organizations you might mention?
Well, for resources, you could talk about publications like the Journal of the American Society for Horticultural Science, websites like the American Hort Knowledge Center. For organizations, you could highlight groups like the National Farmers Union or the Organic Trade Association.
So you're showing them you're really plugged into the industry and actively seeking out new information.
Now, let's bring RoleCatcher's AI back into the picture. How can it help prepare for, these types of questions that focus on industry trends and advancements?
It's like having a research assistant
Yeah,
right at your fingertips.
exactly. RoleCatcher's AI, it can keep you updated on the latest news and research. It can also help you identify key, influencers and organizations to follow.
It's not just about what you already know. It's about demonstrating you can stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And adapt to new information.
Right. And RoleCatcher's AI can even analyze job descriptions to find specific skills or knowledge areas that are really in demand right now. This can help you, tailor your answers to those areas of expertise.
Okay, now for a question all about problem solving and innovation. Can you describe a time when you had to come up with a creative solution to a problem in horticultural production? This was a little more open-ended, so it gives you a chance to really stand out.
It does. It really allows you to showcase that ability to think outside the box.
So what kind of story might you choose for this question?
It could be a time you had to deal with a pest outbreak using a new approach, or maybe you found a way to, improve efficiency in a particular process.
It's all about choosing a story that demonstrates that ability to think critically, identify those root causes, and develop solutions that are effective and practical.
Right. And, don't be shy about getting into the details. How did you approach the problem? What resources did you use? How did you test your solution?
It's about showing them that you're, not just a follower, but a leader who can really drive innovation.
Okay, let's move on to a question about the bigger picture. How do you see the role of technology, evolving in the horticulture industry? This is where you show them your forward-thinking mindset and your ability to adapt to change.
It's about thinking about the future of the industry.
Exactly. Talk about specific technologies that you think will have a big impact on horticulture. Things like precision agriculture, automation, data analytics, vertical farming.
And if you have any experience with these technologies, share it.
Absolutely. It shows that you're not just talking about the future, but, that you're engaging with it. And RoleCatcher's AI can be a great resource for staying on top of those trends.
It's like having a personalized news feed that filters out all the noise and just gives you that information that's relevant to your career goals.
Now let's look at a question about communication. How do you communicate, complex information about horticultural practices to different people, like team members, customers, or suppliers?
This one's about showing them that you can tailor your message to the needs of your audience.
Right. You might use simple language and visuals when explaining a concept to a new team member, but more technical terminology when talking to a supplier about a specific problem.
So being able to adapt your communication style to make sure you're clear and concise.
And how can RoleCatcher's AI, help you prepare for this type of question?
Well, it can analyze your communication style and find areas where you might need to, adjust your tone or phrasing to be more effective.
It's like a communication coach, helping you refine that delivery and make sure your message is resonating.
All right, to wrap up this section, let's look at this question. Why are you passionate about working in this field? This one's a bit more personal, but it's a great opportunity to, show that enthusiasm.
It is, and a chance to connect with the interviewer on a different level.
What are some key things to remember when answering this question?
Be genuine, be authentic. Share that personal connection to horticulture. Maybe you love growing food or preserving biodiversity or just being surrounded by nature.
And if you have any specific goals or aspirations, for this field, share them too.
Right. It shows that you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a career that aligns with your values and passions. Okay. So as we wrap up, let's talk about a question that often comes up at the end of an interview. Do you have any questions for us? Now, this isn't just a formality. It's your chance to show them you're engaged, curious, thinking about the role and the company.
So not just nodding politely and saying, nope, I think you've covered everything.
Exactly. Have a couple of, thoughtful questions ready, something that demonstrates your interest in that specific company. Maybe the challenges and opportunities they face.
So what are some examples of good questions to ask?
You could ask about their plans for, growth, maybe their approach to sustainability, or even specific projects they're working on that you find interesting.
And, don't hesitate to ask about the team or the company culture.
Mm.
Shows that you're not just focused on the job, but also on finding that right fit,
Yeah.
for you.
Now, before we finish up our deep dive, let's talk about RoleCatcher's AI one last time. Think about how it can help you, not just during the interview, but for your overall career development.
Because landing the job is really just the beginning, right? It's about setting yourself up for success long term.
Exactly. RoleCatcher's AI can, help you identify some potential career paths, maybe suggest some certifications or courses to boost your skills. And it can even connect you with other professionals in the field.
It's like having, this personalized career advisor right in your pocket, helping you navigate that world of horticulture and achieve your goals.
All right, so as you get ready for this Horticulture Production Manager interview, remember, you're not just walking in blind. You have insights into what they're looking for, strategies for answering those tough questions, and of course, RoleCatcher's AI to help you stand out.
But here's a final thought to, leave you with. With all this technology changing the world of horticulture so rapidly, what role do you see yourself playing in shaping the future of this industry?
It's a big question, but a good one to think about. Because it's your vision, your passion that will truly set you apart. So go out there, ace that interview, and let your journey begin.